So what we are going to do here is we just gonna create our nodes. So first of all, let me create the first node. Okay, so first node should be created outside the loop. Of course, we're gonna iterate a loop, which is gonna start from the second node up to the last node, up to the size. Okay, user enters the n, right? N means say if n equals to 10, and you have to get the first node outside the loop, and you can get the other nodes inside the loop, because you know that the first node should point to the start variable, right? Okay, so for that reason I am doing this. Okay, so let me say let me get a value actually. Okay, I will say printf enter the values. Okay, the user will enter the values one by one, but that doesn't matter. I hope I have. So here what we are going to do here is we're going to create the nodes. We are going to get the values from the user. Okay, so first of all, let me do one thing. Let me copy the value of start. Let me create one more a temporary variable. Okay, so this is a temporary variable, say temp, and I'll copy the value of the start variable. Why I'm doing this? Because a start pointer should not be manipulated. Okay, you should create a copy of start as temp. Now temp will have the value of start, right? If start has 101, temp will also have 101. That's the address, right? So then you can manipulate, you can use the temp variable to traverse or whatever you want. You should not manipulate the start variable. You should have it as it is. Okay, so whenever you want, you have to create a copy of start, like this temp, then you can use that, okay, to traverse the list. Okay, so temp equals to start, and I'll show you, I'll get a value. So I'm already getting the value, and I think I should have to give another name. Temp, I'll say temp1, because I already have temp. Okay, so I'm getting the values there, so I'll say temp1, and temp will get only the first value, right? Because there is only single scanf statement and there is no loop. Okay, so let me assign it to temp1 points to data. Okay, so let me create a node and let me assign it to temp1 points to data. Temp1 arrow data will have the value temp now. Okay, and temp1 arrow next. Okay, now it is currently null, and I have to write a for loop for that. Okay, so what I'm basically doing here is I'm just creating a node outside the loop only for the first node, because the first node should point start variable should point to the first node. Because of that reason I'm doing this. Okay, after that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to iterate a for loop, which is going to start from 2, and it is going to extend up to n, and it should have the value I plus. Okay, so okay, all right. So what I'm going to do here is for each iteration I'm going to create a node. So struct node new node. All right, struct node new node, and I have to use the malloc statement at each iteration. So let me do that. Struct node asterisk malloc size of, then struct node. All right, so each time when I run this loop, a node will be created and memory will be allotted. Okay, so in the node you can actually store the value. So data, and let me get the value from the user. So I'll say scanf. You can use the temp variable itself, doesn't matter. Okay, you can use the temp variable itself, and I'm just assigning that new node of new node arrow data. New node arrow data will have the value temp. All right, so and what you have to do, your first node now, your first node is temp1, and that should point to a new node, right? So what you can do here is temp1, right? Temp1 next, you can make it point to new node. All right, because temp1 is your first node, and you can make it point to new node. I told you about this in the previous video, right? Temp1 of next points to new. That's how we can link the nodes, right? And after that, this loop should iterate for n number of nodes, so we have to write a loop according to that. To traverse, you have to use this wonderful what I can say, wonderful statement, guys. Okay, this wonderful set of code. Temp1 equals to temp1 arrow next. Will this work? Of course, I think this will work. What do you mean by temp1 equals to temp1 of next? This basically means that you are just moving away one node. Okay, so if I give temp1 equals to temp1 of next, let's go to the paint. Okay, what is new node 1 of next? New node 1 is next is pointing to the new node 2 here in this example. Okay, new node 1 next pointing to new node 2, right? New node 1 next point to new node 2, and new node 2 points to maybe new node 3. Okay, so new node of next, if you assign it to new node itself, then that will have the address of second node only, right? What I'm making here is, let me okay, so I think I can copy this up. Okay, fine, let me write something here. So new node 1 equals to new node 1 of next. Okay, all right, so I'll say new node alone. Okay, there is no need of 1 and all, so new node. Okay, what this statement will do, you know that initially this say new node points to this node. Okay, new node points to this node. Okay, new node points to this node. What is new node of next? New node of next will be pointing to this node. Okay, new node of next will be pointing to next this node. So new node of next will be pointing to the second node, and you are assigning that to a variable called new node. You are overriding the value, you are assigning that to new node itself. Now new node will point to second node. Like that you can increment the node. Okay, now I can also say like this, new node of next, and again I could put next here. If I have one more node, I can put another next here. So what do you mean by that? New node of next, that is this node, and in that particular node you are accessing the next field that will point to the third node, right? That will point to third node, and you are as a whole you are assigning to new node. Okay, so new node will point to third node now. Okay, like that you can traverse the list by this single statement. Okay, by the single statement you can traverse the list. So this statement is very crucial. Okay, whenever you want to traverse the list, you'll be using that in almost all codes. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just incrementing the value by one. It's almost similar like I plus plus. I'm just incrementing the node address by another term. I'm moving on to the next term. Okay, so now the next term will be stored in temp1. So after that, if the loop iterates, the next term will be temp1, and it goes on like that. Okay, it goes on like that, like till the end of the node. Okay, I mean list. All right, so I think this is okay. Yeah, fine. And after that, if you want to display the elements, you can go for printf statements. So printf are the elements are okay. So you have to use a loop again. So for I equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, and I plus plus, and here make temp1 points to start again, because it would have manipulated inside the loop. So make temp1 points to start again, so that you can traverse the loop. Okay, how to traverse the loop? It's very simple, guys. Printf, and you do like this. Printf temp1 of data, temp1 arrow data, like. And after that, to move on to the next node, you have to manipulate the temp1 variable. Say temp1 equals to temp1 arrow next. It will point to the next. Now it will move to the next node, and next node's data will be printed. After that, it will move to the another node, and another node data will be printed. Like that, it goes on up to the end of the list. Okay. Actually, you should not write a for loop here. You can use a while loop, and you can say temp1 of next equals not equal to null. Okay. So the loop will stop whenever it will whenever it executes null. I mean it encounters null. What do you mean by that? That is the last element. Okay, that's the last element of the list. I told you the next feed of last element will have the value null. Okay, so if I say temp1 arrow next is not equal to null, that is the end condition. Okay, if that is equal to null, then you just I mean equal to yeah, not equal to null. If that is not okay, all right, if that is equal to null, then the condition becomes false, right? So yeah, that's it. Okay, condition becomes false, then the loop will come out of the loop. Okay, let's run this code, check what happens. Yeah, I is undeclared, and yeah, we have to declare I. That's our counter. We have to give some respect to that. Okay, so I hope there is no errors. Enter the number of nodes. Let's say I just want to enter 5 nodes. Enter the values. Okay, 10. I'll press enter. It will ask me for the second value, but now it is actually inside the loop. Okay, you can see that first value is got outside the loop, and now it is actually moved on inside the loop. But for us, for the user, it is abstract, right? It's like entering all the values one single at a time, right? 30, 40, and 50. Okay, you can see the elements are 10, 20, 30, 40, and the last element is not getting printed, I think. Yes, there is some issues because the last element will not be printed, guys, because we have done the statement, right? Temp1 of next is not equal to null. So if the last element's next field only is having the value null. So if the loop goes to the last element, it will check the condition. If it is equal to null means then the condition will get false and it will come out of the loop. So last element is not getting printed here. Either you can print manually or you can do some manipulations here itself. You can use for loop. Okay, think out of a solution. I'm not doing that here because it's pretty simple. You can just have one more printf statement or you can go for loop. Okay, whenever you execute this code, please try that. Okay, thanks a lot.